Okay, so imagine this. We're doing a training scenario, and we're all supposed to be using these training guns. But instead, during the training evolution, one of us grabs a real gun and then accidentally shoots someone during a training event. How bad would that be? How much trouble do you think you would get in as an instructor, a student, or what have you? Well, that's what we're here to talk about. Not so much that, but the Inspector General is now investigating a Windsor officer who used their gun after intending to use the stun gun. Hey, before we get started and we get too far into the video, I just want to say I appreciate all your support. Always, down in the description below is a link to the merch store where you can get awesome merch like this. We got hats, we got dad hats, we got sweatshirts, t-shirts, mugs, the whole 9 yards. All right, we got Patreon, locals. You can become a member right here. The membership is growing. At the very least, it costs you nothing. All you gotta do, like the video, share it with your friends, throw a comment in the comment section. It helps with the algorithm. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Make sure you toggle that notification bell so anytime I put up a new video, you get notified. All right, back to the video, guys. All right, so in the news, you may have heard that a Windsor cop gave chase, intended to deploy his taser, and took a shot at the suspect. It has been all over the place. I've seen it on Twitter, Instagram, the whole 9 yards, and it is not just local. It is gone and made it national news. Like Mr. Guns and Gear has covered it and some others. It's pretty nutty. All right. Now, I know you may be thinking, man, that sounds oddly familiar. And you're right. It would. Back in 2021, Officer Kim Potter was found guilty of manslaughter in the death of Dwante Wright. Dwante was pulled over during a normal traffic stop. He was being detained, removed from his car. He resisted. He tried to climb back in the car. He tried to take off Officer Kim Potter, who was, I think, a 26-year veteran of the police department. So she's highly trained, right? Pulls out her service Glock. You can clearly see that it's a service Glock. Screams taser, and then shoots the guy. And then has a complete and utter meltdown once she realizes she shot the suspect, who did die from his injuries. And, well, she was found guilty of first and second degree manslaughter, and she's now in jail. I don't want this video to come off as like I'm crapping over the cops. Their job is hard. But the biggest problem that I can think of is over the past couple of years, there was this massive movement to defund the police. So when they cut the money, obviously we're losing officers, but then they're cutting the budget for training. And it always boils down to training. Hands down, you have people constantly saying that the police are highly trained, blah, blah, blah. Like, I pulled up this one article. It is recent, as in within the past couple of years. Patrick Daly, the chief of Norwich Police Department, said Connecticut was a great place to work as a police officer. A study published shows that Connecticut police officers are highly trained and well compensated, have good job protections, and violent crime rates are good and on the way down. Now, of course, we all know the governor is always touting how the crime rate is down. Yeah, it doesn't seem like that. When we go outside and we go about our business through this state of ours, it seems like crime is actually going up. I don't know. It might be down. It depends on the metrics they're using. Because, you know, we can finagle them numbers and make it look like crime is going down. That being said, highly trained officers, they are not highly trained.
Special officer duty.
They are trained to a bare minimum. Okay, when I think of training, I go back to how the military does it. The military, you practice, and then you practice some more, and you keep doing it until it's refined. Then you go on a deployment, you implement your training, and then you come back and you do more training once your deployment is over. The training never stops. Police, for the most part, are doing the best they can. They're doing the best they can with what they have. That being said, these guys and women that are officers, a lot of them aren't gun people like you and I are. They're not, super deep into shooting sports and shooting guns and the latest and greatest techniques and tactics and all that good stuff. I know when I do different training sessions throughout the year, a lot of the training groups I'm in, there are like 1 or 2 police officers that are paying out of pocket to get this training. The departments are not sending cops en masse to all these different training classes. If they do, they'll send 1 or 2, and then those officers are supposed to bring back what they've learned and train other cops instead of just paying the money to send all these cops through and rotate them through and get them all trained. And I think that's a really big problem. I was in a position at one point to see these officers qualling, and it's usually only once a year. And a lot of these cops aren't going to the range a couple of times a month to hone their skills. They're shooting their guns once a year for their qual, and that's it. They're done. I've seen plenty of posts on social media, and of course I open up my big mouth and I'm like, look, the cops are not highly trained, yada, yada, yada. And of course people come to their defense, and I'm like, okay, listen, you know how many times I've had to have a private lesson with one of these officers who can't qual, and my job during the private lesson is to just get them across the finish line. I've done it for police, I've done it for military. It's a problem. It's a massive existential problem that these cops are not getting trained to the best of their abilities. And it comes all the way back to this cop in Windsor. What really chaps me about it is, yes, he screwed up. Okay, he meant to pull his taser and he pulled his service pistol, took a shot, realized that, even admits on camera, on body cam, oops, I didn't mean to do that. But then once they apprehend him, he lies. Because the perpetrator calls him out and said, why are you shooting at me? And he's like, I didn't shoot. It reminds me of a toddler. When you catch your toddler doing something wrong, you see it happen and you call them out and they're like, didn't do it, never happened. They're not taking responsibility for their own actions. All right. It's this simple. I'm doing a cut. I'm going to give you the footage. I was able to actually find it online, and you can judge for yourself. And then at the very end of the video, when I'm done yammering on about it, I'll have a whole complete unedited body cam footage for you guys. All right. So let's cut to that right now.
Damn, what up, y'all? This y'all, huh? This plate don't match, man. Hold on. Where you going? Hold on. Got one on foot. Going into T Park. Yo, stop running. I'm gonna fucking tase you. Oh shit, I did not mean to do that.
Put that right there. Did you shoot at me?
I thought you said gun, bro.
Gun?
Yeah.
Bro, you shot at me, right? No, he didn't shoot a gun at you.
Yes, this right here. This.
Taser.
He shot a gun at me.
No, I didn't.
Taser.
I heard a gun.
That wasn't me, bro.
He shot a gun.
How?
I heard a gun.
That's why you use this. It's coming out.
The difference between a gun and a taser.
All right, so there you go. I think that particular clip is the one that Mr. Guns and Gear had shared. You could see the watermark from the website where we pulled it. Now, I'm pulled up an article from, I don't know if it's WTNH or WFSB. Oh, I just found it on the back. It's Fox 61. Local. So, it says a Windsor police officer was caught denying on camera that he fired his gun after initially threatening to use a stun gun during a foot chase last month. And we're now just finding out about it. The Office of the Inspector General is now investigating the situation. On January 30th, wow, that's only 15 days ago, a Windsor police officer, Brandon Thomas, confronted two people about a vehicle parked at the Tiger Mart gas station with plates registered to a different vehicle. One of them, Giovanni Nunez, 21, then ran away, and Thomas chased Giovanni into the park. On his body camera footage, Thomas was heard threatening to use the stun gun on Nunez. Thomas then fired one round at from his firearm and said, "Oh, I didn't mean to do that," and he is seen deploying his stun gun. Nunez was not hit. At one point, Thomas fell into a stream when his body-worn camera got soaked, and the footage was recovered, according to the Inspector General. After Nunez was taken into custody, he accused Thomas of shooting at him, which Thomas denied the accusations. Nunez said, "I heard the gun." And Thomas said, "Wasn't me, bro. You made a mistake. Own up to the mistake." It's that simple. Now, here's my biggest... Listen, I'm not a cop. So I don't think I'm trying to, Monday morning quarterback this stuff. But your firearm, your lethal weapon, is here on your side. Your taser, your less than lethal, is going to be over here, right? Whether it's on the belt or it's up here somewhere, but it's going to be a cross draw. It is not up and out. They don't feel the same. These are totally different weights. The taser is going to be a lot lighter, while a fully loaded Glock 17, Glock 19, or whatever the department uses is going to be considerably heavier. One is, I'd say one is totally plastic. If it's a Glock, a good portion of it is a polymer. So, yeah, it's plastic, but the slide itself is metal. They don't feel the same. So I don't know what the solution is. I say better training. Tons and tons more training. I don't understand how they confuse these. One is bright yellow or a bright orange. It's colored in a way to where you know the difference between that and the lethal version. Obviously, you can see by the body cam footage, the officer pulled his Glock, his service pistol, which is all black, and then fires around. He realizes he made a mistake. What really gets me, though, is in the end, he lies. He denies it. I get their job's stressful. But in stressful situations, you tend to fall back on your training. Okay, you kind of go into autopilot and you just do what you're trained to do. That's why in the military they train and train and train, because when everything falls apart around you, you just revert to the training and you go through the motions. As sad as it sounds, but that's kind of the point. These guys, it seems like they must not be getting enough training. And again, I don't want to sound like I'm shitting on the cops, because, there's plenty of cops out there that take this seriously and really, really do work their ass off and train, but they're doing it on their own. I don't know what the solution is. I say more training, but what really bothers me about all of this is clearly by the video you can tell that there's a lack of training. But when Connecticut passes all these gun laws, they always have that little carve out for law enforcement. And, it's either because law enforcement needs it or because law enforcement is highly trained while most regular civilians are not. And that's why they're more responsible, and they can have standard capacity magazines. They can have certain type of firearms whilst you can't, because they are a different type of citizen than you. I hate to tell you this, but a lot of the dudes that I know that go to the range on a regular basis can absolutely run circles around some of these cops. I mean, they're Their quals are nothing special. They are basic, straightforward 3 yards, 5 yards, 7 yards, 10 yards, etc. They are not bounding. They are not moving around. I mean, maybe there's some drills here and there, but for the most part, it's if you shoot, can you hit the target? And even that's asking a lot. You see it all the time. There was I'll share it, but there was an article, I think it's back from 2020, in New York. A person went into their job, shot somebody, and then hid the gun, but when he was approached by officers, he pulled the gun out, raised the gun, and the officers engaged. The officers shot several rounds. Now, they did strike and kill the bad guy. However, they shot a bunch of bystanders that were there too. Some were hit by the bullets from the cops themselves, while a vast majority of them were actually struck by shrapnel and spall from all the misses and the ricochets and things like that. It just goes to show that under pressure, remember, it's a stressful job, but under the pressure, if they're not trained properly, they fold. That's it. There's a massive problem. It's not just here. It's everywhere. And this is what you get when you defund the cops. You're left with a bunch of untrained people that are expected to perform at a level that's way up here, but their training is way down here. I'm guilty of it too. I'm guilty of, saying that, well, maybe they don't need APCs. Maybe they don't need all this stuff. But what they do need is tons of training. And they're just not getting it. So I don't want to, make it sound like that I don't support them. I think their job is hard. I'm not the rah, 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 Blue Lives Matter type. But at the same time, I'm not like we should defund them. No, we should increase their funding. We should train them, but we should hold them to a higher standard. We should not make excuses for them. And too many of you out there, when I call out this BS, make excuses. Well, it's a stressful job. Well, you don't know what it's like. I know what the training's like, and it's not what they need. They need more. They need scenario-based. They need force-on-force training. None of that is in the budget. I've talked to some of these cops that have come to the training sessions, and I'm like, do you guys do force-on-force training? Where you guys go and run through your scenarios, and you have OP4, oppositional forces that basically shoot back at you with sim rounds. For a while, everybody could get sim rounds. They were legal, but then the government put the kibosh on that, and now sim rounds are remanded strictly for military and Leo personnel. But you could airsoft, for crying out loud. And granted, yes, it's, not the same, but it's pretty darn as close as you're going to get without actually shooting each other. I think if they did force-on-force training, which they don't do, they would be way better off. The military does it all the time. It's not fun getting hit with these sim rounds, but it hurts, and there are consequences, obviously pain, and you learn from your mistakes to where when everything does fall apart around you, those mistakes could get you killed or get somebody else killed, things like that. I don't know. I want to know what you guys think in the comment section. Let me know. Do you think it's a training problem? Do you think it's just me being, just a moron about the whole thing? Do you think we have a problem with training? Do you think the cops should just be defunded? I don't know. But I do know that if it comes down to the training is lacking, and we should invest in the training. I really don't think it's fair to ask these people to put their lives on the lines for us to keep us safe and then offer them no training. That makes it a danger to themselves and others. But, there's no perfect solution, in my opinion. So let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think? All right, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to kind of bring this up to you guys. I'm not sure if you saw it in the news or not. Before I forget, we are still booking a few slots out for private lessons. So if you need a little help shooting, I mean, most people that I know that I talk to when they do shoot handguns, they freely admit they tend to shoot low and to the left. That's an easy fix. All you gotta do is down in the description or anywhere on social medias, you'll find the email address. Shoot me an email. We'll set up a date and a time that works best for you. We'll meet at the range. It's 1 hour or 100 rounds, whichever comes first, for not a super expensive price, but it's a one-on-one training session, and I usually can help fix most of your bad habits relatively quickly. I'm not saying that you need to keep coming to these private lessons. 1 or 2, you should be good to go. I will set you up with homework, and you know what to work on and how to continue progressing. But I always recommend taking, obviously, defensive courses and bigger shooting classes throughout the year. Even I do that. You should too. We can all improve on our shooting. Get different perspectives from different instructors, so on and so forth. So if you're in need of a little help before the training sessions start up, because it's a season, and it's usually spring and summer and fall. Nobody really likes to train in the winter. It's just too cold. Hit me up. We'll set up a day and a time. All right. It's going to usually be during the week in the evenings that fits your schedule best, just because on weekends I am teaching. All right. So that's enough about that. If you've hung out this far, right now I'm going to cut to the full unedited body cam footage for you. Enjoy. I'll see you all in the next video. All right. So here's a little PSA, a little correction, as it were. As I'm sitting here editing, trying to cut everything together, I noticed the actual police cam footage that was released was identical to what I already had. So the full video in its entirety is identical. So it's going to look the same, but I'll throw it in at the end anyways.
Damn, what up, y'all? This y'all, huh? This plate don't match, man. Hold on. Where you going? Hold on. Got one on going into T Park. Yo, stop running! I'm gonna fucking tase you. Oh shit! I did not mean to do that.
Put that right there.
Did you shoot at me?
I thought you said gun, bro.
Gun?
Yeah.
Bro, you shot at me, man.
No, he didn't shoot a gun at you.
Yes,
This right here. This.
Taser.
he shot a gun at me.
No, I didn't.
Taser.
I heard a gun.
That wasn't me, bro.
He shot a gun.
How?
I heard a gun.
That's why you use this. It's coming out.
The difference between a gun and a taser.